churches, places of worship, sanctuaries of peace, or so we thought. What if these sacred spaces harbor secrets? What if their hallowed halls echo with more than hymns and prayers? What if, instead of solace, they offer glimpses into the spectral realm? New Orleans, with its voodoo history and above-ground cemeteries, is a city that dances with death. It's no surprise that its churches, some centuries old, bear the weight of their spectral residents. These aren't just stories to scare, they're woven into the fabric of the city. We will explore the iconic St. Louis Cathedral, a beacon in the heart of the French Quarter. Its majestic facade has witnessed countless souls pass through its doors, but some, it seems, never left. Their stories, steeped in local lore, paint a picture of a city where the veil between the living and the dead is thin indeed. As we delve deeper into the spectral tapestry of St. Louis Cathedral, we encounter the haunting tale of Pere Antoine, a figure whose legacy is as enduring as the cathedral itself. Pere Antoine was born Francisco Ildefonso Moreno in the Spanish town of Cedella. Pere Antoine arrived in New Orleans in the late 18th century. Known for his unwavering dedication, care of prisoners and slaves, he quickly became a much-loved and revered central figure in the community. Pere Antoine baptized Marie Laveau when she was a child. In 1819, he presided over her wedding to Jacques Pere. Antoine and Laveau, who were close friends, worked tirelessly to bring freedom to the slaves and people of color. Antoine died on January 19, 1829. He was 81. 3 days later, he was buried inside the St. Louis Cathedral. It is said that Pere Antoine's spirit remains tethered to the cathedral he so fervently served. Antoine's ghost is easily recognized as his portrait hangs inside the cathedral. His ghostly presence has been reported by countless visitors over the years. Witnesses describe seeing a spectral figure silently moving through the cathedral's aisles. Outside the church, in the early hours of the morning, he is often heard humming church songs. For over 100 years, people have often spotted him casually walking in the alley named after him. Observers have seen his gentle ghost during choir practice, sitting in an empty pew and swaying to the music. It is said that his presence still haunts the cathedral garden, occasionally glimpsed through the stained glass windows during Mass. At Christmas midnight Mass at St. Louis Cathedral, he is seen clutching a lit candle while singing along. Pere Antoine's story is one of devotion and duty, but also of an enduring connection to the sacred space he once governed. His spectral presence serves as a reminder that in New Orleans, the past is never truly gone. It lingers, just out of sight, in the shadows of its storied buildings. As we move forward, we must remember that every whisper, every chill in the air, carries with it the weight of history and the souls who once walked these hallowed grounds. The spirit of Marie Laveau, the famed Voodoo Queen of New Orleans, adds a different dimension to the cathedral's haunted reputation. It is believed that Laveau was born circa 1801. She died on June 15, 1881. Though a devout Catholic, Marie Laveau also practiced voodoo, a religion deeply rooted in New Orleans' African diaspora. She blended elements of both faiths, attending Mass at St. Louis Cathedral, while conducting voodoo ceremonies in Congo Square. Some speculate that Marie Laveau used her influence within both the Catholic and voodoo communities to help those in need, regardless of their beliefs. the Voodoo Queen, Marie Laveau, dressed in white and with her head wrapped in tignon, is often spotted kneeling and silently praying at the cathedral's high altar in the early mornings when the church opens. Praying at sundown, her ghost is also observed. A woman claimed she saw Laveau's ghost make the sign of the cross, stand up, and vanish into the shadows of the vestibule. Marie Laveau's ghostly presence continues to haunt St. Louis Cathedral, and leaving a lasting impression on those who encounter her spirit. Pere Dagobert, a Capuchin monk, became the pastor of St. Louis Church in 1745. He was known for championing the poor and disenfranchised. He had a beautiful baritone voice, loved food and wine, and was charismatic with a great sense of humor and a big heart. He was also very charitable. Father Pere Dagobert was famous and beloved for his kindness and his work with the poor and terminally ill. In the 1760s, some members of the St. Louis congregation opposed the new Spanish rulers of the city. The rebels, who were mainly French and Creole, drove the Spanish forces out of New Orleans. However, the Spanish reclaimed New Orleans with a new military governor, Alejandro Bloody O'Reilly, who was sent to quench further rebellion. As a deterrent, the 6 surviving rebellion leaders were executed on October 25, 1769. O'Reilly ordered that their bodies rot without a Catholic burial on the levee across from the Church of St. Louis Cathedral. The grieving families pleaded with O'Reilly to allow the executed men to receive a Catholic burial. O'Reilly refused, and the bodies continued to rot under the heavy guard of the Spanish garrison. One night, Pere Dagobert summoned the grieving families to St. Louis Cathedral for the funeral mass of the men. It is said that it was a clear night, while others claim it was stormy. However, everyone agrees that under the cover of night and shrouded by mist, Pere Dagobert managed to take the rotting bodies with the help of a few men, despite the presence of numerous guards. After the Catholic Mass, a funeral procession took the coffins of all 6 men to Old St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, where they were buried in unmarked graves to prevent the Spanish from desecrating their final resting place and removing the bodies. Collecting the bodies under heavy guard without being seen and no footprints found at the cemetery convinced many that it was a miracle. Upon learning about the incident, O'Reilly went to the levee to investigate. The guards on duty couldn't explain how the bodies were taken from under their noses. To this day, many have witnessed the ghostly funeral procession of the executed men to the cemetery. The ghostly figures of the 6 men he buried are often seen in the church, guarding St. Louis Cathedral. Others have reported sightings of the ghosts of the 6 men alongside the spectral figure of Pere Dagobert, inside and outside the church. When the cathedral is closed for the night, many people hear Pere Dagobert singing the Kyrie in a beautiful voice. They have witnessed him standing in front of the high altar of St. Louis Cathedral, singing the Kyrie. At times, in the quietness of the night in the closed church, a light is observed gliding from window to window as his spectral voice sings the Kyrie in the empty cathedral. On rainy afternoons, many have witnessed Dagobert kneeling at the altar, passionately praying, reminding us that some secrets refuse to be buried, even within the hallowed halls of a sacred space. Pere Dagobert was a beloved Capuchin monk known for his charity and kindness. He defied Spanish authorities to give a proper burial to executed rebels, leading to his ghostly presence being witnessed in St. Louis Cathedral. His spectral voice singing the Kyrie and the ghostly figures of the 6 men he buried continue to haunt the cathedral, reminding us of his enduring legacy and the mysteries that linger in New Orleans. Benjamin Henry Latrobe designed the central tower of St. Louis. It was his last project. He died on September 3, 1820, in New Orleans. He was a victim of yellow fever. The bell, called Victoire, tolled his funeral dirge. It is reported that workers finishing up the bell tower would not work alone due to ghostly sightings and objects moving about. On windless days, the bell is heard resonating faintly in memory of Latrobe. The St. Louis Tower clockmaker Jean Delachaux believed that Latrobe was the source of the hauntings in the tower. It is believed that the 19th century ghost seen in the church is Jean Delachaux, who is checking the accuracy of the bell chimes while holding a pocket watch. A fire broke out at Delphine Lalaurie's mansion in 1834. The smoldering mansion exposed the appalling conditions in which her slaves lived. Attributed to Madame Lalaurie, the slaves were subjected to unspeakable atrocities such as savage mutilations, sadistic torture, and horrific surgeries. After narrowly escaping with their lives, Lalaurie and her husband fled to Paris. Some believe that they never actually left New Orleans and instead founded a satanic cult. What happened after her mansion burned down in 1834 is unclear. However, it is clear that her restless ghost, recognizable from her famous portrait, is repeatedly seen in the cathedral. In front of the grand altar, she kneels with her pale face, looking up in prayer. When she is not praying, her ghost somberly paces in front of an old confessional. What captivates us about haunted churches? It's the clash between solace and unease, the sacred and the unknown. These sightings connect us to the past, revealing lives and losses. Some stories refuse to be silenced by death. They linger in whispers, shadows, and the walls of this cathedral. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much.